Say them say fi burn down the herb and I tell the peace if fi plant cassava. Na na na. Me say me fly like a bird And I know them around like a sofa. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Peace in the can, big up yourself. I actually have that, guys. I actually have that, but I can't find it right now to play. I think I'm writing solo this evening, though. I think I am writing solo this evening. Um, my brethren, them other engagement. So it was just be me and you and your views, but a lot to unpack, a lot to unpack. So me forgot my manners. Let me say good evening. Thanks for joining me. It happens to be December 11th. So you can do your maths to Christmas. Yeah. What is it? 14 days, 4 plus 1 are 5 and 10. Yep. 14 days to Christmas for those of you who celebrate Christmas. Some people say Kwanzaa. Good night, Annette. All right, people that are early out. Good night, good night, good night. Thanks for being here. So a lot to unpack. The news cycle is something else because I made preparation over the weekend to talk about the Prime Minister, Dr. Andrew Holness, granted leave to challenge the Integrity Commission. Um, and it is interesting. I was listening to news, well, talk show today, and it's one of those stations that they're it's no doubt that they're in favor of the orange side, like the presenters. They're definitely the way how they frame things. And one of them read some years ago where the office of the contractor general, when Greg Christie was the contractor general at the time, um the government, which was then the PNP, they were in power, and they took leave, or they applied for leave to challenge something from the contractor general office where Christie was, and the host was doing it in a bid to kind of make it look like, I don't know, nothing kind of, I'm not sure what he was trying to get at. And I messaged him and I said, Virgin, so PNP, I make it look like, say, and I've had it. Those of you who are on my channel, you saw I've posted where callers were giving this host a bashing last Friday, because he was explaining stuff. So there was a talking point from the PNP saying that Dr. Holness was trying to lessen or weaken the office of the IC by seeking leave. And take off all your hats, take off all your affiliations, like, and all of these things. You cannot say you believe in the rule of law, and at the same time, you have a problem when somebody seeks something that anybody can seek. You know, if there's a case brought against you, you can apply for leave. And if you get it, then you put a case together and you claim and all of these things. So, like I said, I had all of that. I guess I'm just gonna have to just drop it on the channel. And let me say thanks to those of you who are actually watching the video, because I didn't know that YouTube was YouTube the way YouTube is. Like, I would have done some things a long time ago. So to my friends and supporters and people who have been encouraging me to do more and be more, I want to say thanks to you, because now I'm seeing some things that I didn't know. So there's the analysis, sorry. Analytics, that's the word I was looking for. That break it down and tell me. The point I'm trying to get at is 98% of those of you who watch my video, you actually allow the ads to play. It's very, very important that when you click on my video, whichever part of it and the ads coming, it's very, very, very important that you leave the ads to run. It's just 30 seconds. You can't skip it after. I mean, I think I'll be asking too much if I'm asking you to just let the ad them play till when you see no more ads. No, I would be asking too much. But like I say, I was very comforted today when I checked it and saw that 98. And I'm not saying this now for people say, let me stop do the ad, because some people are like that. You commend them for something good and then start do something else. So let me slowly say, those of you who are helping to build my channel, who actually allow the ads to run for the entire time that it runs, I want to say thanks to you, because YouTube is showing me that 98% of you that watch my video actually allow the ads to run. And big up on yourself. Guys, you don't have to comment alone on my channel. You can share it. You understand? So copy the link. And those of you who are in your WhatsApp groups and all of that, send it out, blast it, and trust me, I am very heartened where every now and then me just see one notification, somebody comment, somebody say something. And I'll try to find materials from all over and place it so you can see and hear for yourself that it's not only the bad people, because this is why I took up this mantra. I believe that if good people remain silent, then the bad people will prosper. And I'm going to give an example. And if you're coming in, just say hi. Let me know, you're here. Just comment or something. Or I should post to free this up on Facebook too, so I can get in my Facebook comments. So there's a dangerous thing going on. And the more I think about it and the more I'm exposed to it, I am actually in fear. Yeah. So I grew up hearing that it's negativity that sells, you know. So it's easier, and there's a saying to that, lie goes around the world faster than truth can put on its pants. Right? And if my brethren watch, but you give me content or content, so I'm using in this context. I saw on his WhatsApp last night to be exact, and I think it was about 10 o'clock, somewhere near there. And he posted at 8:30 that the junior doctors are on strike. And I messaged him and I say, that was yesterday, bro, and they went back to work last evening. And he responded and him said, so it no matter. All right. VCR radio in the building. Big up yourself. Him say it no matter. And I say, yes, bro, it matters, because you cannot post something and giving the impression that that is the current state. When there was a something happened, because they went back into a meeting. I heard that Dr. Tufton, they were in a meeting till about 12:30 this morning. So there's an ongoing thing going on, right? But if you just post a stale news a day before news and just leave it at that, me think something wrong with that. And he was on the defense and saying, bro, on my channel, on my page, on my WhatsApp, I post what I want to post when I want to post it, and it shouldn't matter. People free for do whatever they want. And I said to him, the only reason why I'm actually saying something to you is because I consider as a virgin. And I would expect that from people who consider me as a virgin. But what I'm getting is, and it's interesting, I'm going to share where the interest lie. I'm having people which I really have dear to my heart telling me that what they think will grow my channel and what they think would be better for me if I come from a neutral place, meaning they don't agree with some of the things that I say and how I say it. And I'm like, well, me think that wrong, because there are people who them take a side and them are run with the side which is false news, which is wrong, defamate, all of the negativity that you can think about. And nobody addressed these people. I was listening to a show last night, and as me click on, my name was called, so I think that give me right for actually thing. And a calling challenging, and I'm going to play it for you. Challenging the host, and the host run him off from radio station. Run him, because what? Him never want to hear what the guy was saying. And I'm like, I will never do that to anybody. If somebody call me right now and they're challenging my point of view, or maybe they watch a video and whatever, I'm going to entertain them and hear what them have to say. I don't think it's right for somebody call me. Them not say nothing derogatory, nothing wrong, and me just run them. So listen to this. Listen to this.
Me no know Bruce Golden Rich. Michael Manley died a poor man.
And what happened to PJ Patterson?
PJ Rich. PJ is still living in Jamaica, you know that?
So I guess living in
PG.
Jamaica
Man,
don't
I'm not twist up on
mean
the
that you
mouth.
How much
and
business
then, man.
PG? How much company PG have? How much company PG Patterson have?
Do what?
How much companies PG have?
Hear me, man. Hear me, man. I don't leave it Prime
Answer the
Minister,
question or come off of the
because-
phone line.
Because guess what?
If you can't answer the question, come off of this.
Listen me.
Me not listen to you. Come off of this. Me not listen to you. You come with your foolishness all the while. With your garbage. Not listening to your garbage tonight. I am saying to you that the job of a prime minister is not a rich job. It's a job of service, of a statesman for the love of country. If you are come as prime minister, if you can't get rich on the back of poor people, back way, take away yourself. Yes, sir, it's mine. Rubbish. Stupid. Crayfish brains. But rich. It's the same prime minister. The same one. Me here I talk about people get rich on the backs of poor people. Him start being MP when I'm 25. Never work outside of politics. How you get so rich? And you don't want nobody to question the prime minister. Take away yourself.
So there are other things that I can play, but no. And let me say, there's a reason why I'm doing this, because some of us do. I think, and maybe this is why I'm shocked when I hear certain things, because I don't know. I'm not in some groups and hear something what they must say. Like we can recall earlier this year, Cliff Hughes had on Rhoda Crawford on his show to talk about the allegations of she not spending money in Mandeville and causing flood out. And she went into some allegations where PNP did start a rumor say she was pregnant for the prime minister and aborted it. And I hear from two sides, Labour right saying she shouldn't have done that, she should have just ignored it. But I'm like, I can just imagine. I grew up where people were accusing me for all kind of something. One of them, which up to today, I think people actually still have me as that. I have ex who argue with people already because them say I'm a homosexual. That is something that I have been living with all my life. People cuss me out on Facebook when I know nothing about me and say, oh, me can't have no wife or me whatever. And think. It's not a nice feeling when people are walking around and spreading lies and rumors on you. Now, let's go to last night. Because again, I can't deal with the other day. Last week, Friday was the 6th when leave was granted. So the IC, and that is what I put together for you guys. The IC lawyers, they were trying to make it seem like I know nothing. One of them said, listen, man, we didn't challenge it because those that they were putting are some low bars to cross, whatever. However, PMP surrogate, PMP people were on every radio station saying the prime minister is trying to tear down the IC. And the prime minister is this and the prime minister is that, and it showed that he might hide something because the fact that he might go carry them, go court, whatever. And I'm like, seriously? So something that is everybody's right to go and challenge, apply for leave. Cartel was in prison for 13 years. And him apply for leave to go to the Privy Council. See, the Privy Council set him free. And up to today, there are people who are convinced based on the allegations. But it is what it is. I'm not even going to talk about Petrojam. Well, if you follow some news media, news entity, you start condemning people based on just a simple report. Now, I want to know, what is that personal vendetta that Kevin Stevenson, attorney at law, Kevin Stevenson, one of the investigator at the Integrity Commission, have against the Prime Minister? Me really want to know. Me honestly want to know. Again, the voice that I just played, he was on his show last night demanding that the Prime Minister resign or step aside. Something. And he was linking it to Mark Barnett and all of that. And I was saying to myself all of last night, I say, a little information and a little knowledge to a fool is dangerous, Very, very dangerous. So I heard a perspective this morning, and I'm going to share it with you. It's from Nationwide, because we know no plagiarism, nothing. It's not my original material. Speaking of which, I see somebody mention it a while ago. I heard that a big TV station apologized to the Prime Minister based on how they brought the news last night. I don't know. Anybody can let me tell me ear recorder from Nationwide actually read it that yes, TVJ has apologized to the Prime Minister, because as much as the Prime Minister said they didn't really blame him for anything or whatever, he might go seek counsel and see what happened. Like, so back to what I was saying earlier, I think more good people need to start talking, because it is happening, it is working. There are people who they listen to some people, and I tried to do this the other night. Ah, yes, they did. And I was at pain. There's this very popular YouTuber out of Jamaica. And I have some people that I really, really respect. They have sent me stuff about him. And I tell them that with all due respect, I cannot listen to somebody who I'm not a clinical practitioner or whatever, but and I would say the same thing. If you come on my page right now and you hear me talking crap, or it seems as if I need medical or some psychological attention or intervention, and you don't and you continue listening to me, then well, maybe it's just for the entertainment. So I try to listen, and this is what I hear. So people, and I'm like, how people listen to this? How? I cringed for about 20 minutes. I couldn't do it. But the numbers were so high. And one person tell me that, listen to me, you may not like him, but him have the juice, him know the stuff them. And what that tells me that there's an appetite for scandalous, derogatory, dragging, anything negative. There's this appetite for it. Why the amount of material I have to play for tonight? I don't know if 1 hour I go work. Me should I really come on. Mr. Young, I hope you're good enough. Should I come on from 7 based on all the materials I want to go through? Because I saw a clip of a YouTuber blaming TikTok, all that more and talk about the whole killing thing and the threat. Like, I think I need to leave that till when Blazer is available and can come talk to me about it. But I wanted to look at that whole thing where even that I didn't know. I didn't know that there were people making money from TikTok and YouTube who just sit down for one corner, one gate. So all them neighbor them did a disturb and just go live and just start talk about badness and shoot 14-year-old and I didn't know that that was a thing. Again, how comes these people are making money so they can even buy a BMW from just crap talking? Just come and talk. But guess what? I always say this, for those of you who just find me, welcome. I always say this because I don't know me I do this. If, for those of us who are religious believers, if Jesus and Satan right now make a TikTok page, me sure, without a shadow of doubt, Jesus not gonna have the amount of followers like what Satan would have. Because I don't know what it is where, as human beings, we're just attracted to negativity. Yeah. And anything dragging. So the point I was making a while ago is that the PNP have been successful in just say something and get people to repeat them. So if you go on certain radio station, you will hear them. Again, I alluded to it a while ago. One of the talking point from the PNP is that the Prime Minister, by applying for leave in the court, was actually trying to weaken the authority of the IC. And Kemoy McCachran was at pain explaining that to some callers Friday morning on Power. Every single caller that called was a PNP. The video is on my page. I drop it. You can go and listen to it. And I see somebody commented and said, boy, painful for listening to them. Started out with a John Pollock. And John have a line carrying to say, in the business if the Prime Minister guilty of anything. The fact that the Prime Minister name is being called in certain things, it's just wrong. And I said, but with freedom of speech that we're enjoying, Anybody can call anybody name. There's a politician that them call kids meal. And there were allegations about improper behavior and I guess it border and pedophilia and all of these things. And when you have your money, you do what you do, and you can't get the court for. If the people are more accused, you can't come up with evidence, just squash. But the point I'm making is anybody can call anybody name about anything. So I heard a caller this morning telling Tyrone Reed that he was at a funeral and there was a discussion in Clarendon with the I think he was in the division that a GLP councillor won on the PMP ticket. And the discussion was, boy, we don't really have nothing for tear down Dr. Holness, and we have to stop him from getting a third term. So the discussion was, when it come on to economy, we can't do nothing about economy because him have that luck. When it come on to crime is going down, what, 20%? So we can't tackle about. So what can we do? And I am young enough, or I should say old enough, to recognize a pattern from the PNP where this is from the 70s before I was born. They did it to my to Siaga. Attack him as an individual. That's what we looked at last week. So I grew up, and if I wasn't strong-willed and think for myself, I grew up, I maybe would have grown up hating Mr. Siaga. Because the first thing that was embedded in me is that him is not a Jamaican. Him never born here. Him come here. CIA carry him come here. That is what I was told. Yeah. So if me never did do my own research, and I said this last week, it's 2016, I did my own research and say, well, let me dig up and see why the PMP really hate Edward Siaga. And the first thing came up is that Mr. Siaga was born to Jamaican parents in Boston, Massachusetts, September, and he was brought back to Jamaica the December of that year. He was christened in the parish church downtown Kingston. Mr. Siaga left Jamaica when he was 18 years old to go to college. 4 years, came back to Jamaica. When he wasn't even asked to give up his citizenship of America because that was his birthright. Hey, Angie, good evening. He did it, and there was no requirement for him. And in 2024, we see where an aspiring prime minister is, because until I see proof, I'm going to say what I'm saying, and all who don't like it, hush, is a dual citizen. He has dual citizenship. And when he was asked by Isaac Buchanan if he's going to relinquish, what him say? All right, so I was trying to get a guest, and the guest actually called me back. So I'm happy because I really like talk to myself or by myself. But yeah, so I was saying I grew up hating Mr. Siaga because of what I was told about the man. The first thing was, he's not a born Jamaican. He's not a born Jamaican. And I realized there's a thing where when it suits certain people, then them can shift the thing. So I don't know if him want him name out there, so unless him said that yes to that, I'm going to keep him anonymous. But what I'm going to say is, based on all our previous encounter, even on this show and otherwise, he's a member of the People's National Party. So good evening, Sir Comrade.
Henry Linda is the name.
Henry Linda is the name. So I said this last week that I grew up in church and them said the Bible. Anytime them call somebody to come pray or do something, hear them. No, I don't know if you ever hear it. The Bible says you should not lay your hand on any man suddenly, but them actually I do exactly what them said the Bible said not to do.
That is when the person is unprepared or
Ah,
uninformed,
yes.
unaware,
Yes.
and all of that.
Right. So that's why I never mention your name, because I feel like me just lay my hand suddenly and say, yo, let me.
Understand. I appreciate that sheet of protection.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So what I was saying before you actually called me back, and you're live, by the way, on VCR, Vibes Corner Radio. They're out of New York. So yeah, everybody over the side that you're live, and you're live on my YouTube channel, which is DP
I am
Live.
in Brooklyn.
And you're in Brooklyn. Ah, cool. So yes, so the people in Brooklyn, if you're not listening right now, no, I don't know if you're not gonna know Mr. Linda, but we go way, way, way back. Mr. Linda was in Portland for a good chunk of time, and he has a lot of personalities. And I end up liking the singing part and the MC part. Yes, he was a very good master of ceremony. And him have this song where I'm like sing, I did it my way. You remember that, sir? I ask you if you remember that. But anyways,
that was like an anthem.
Yes, from time to time, I think it's maybe not. I don't know. It's the first I've invited you on Vibes Corner Radio.
Yes.
Okay, cool. But he has been here in other places.
I've been on different shows of yours several times.
Yes, sir. Thank you. So I don't know if you're abreast with what's going on in Jamaica, because I know you normally keep up to date. So,
as a matter of fact, I came up last week Thursday, a week ago.
Ah, sweet. What's your take on what's going on? And let's go directly to the release yesterday, which I don't know if you're here yet, but TVJ actually apologized to the Prime Minister based on how they worded their newscast last night. I was listening to, you know his name?
I saw the release.
Okay. So
but then if you look at it further back in time, the office of the Prime Minister is supposed to be the highest office, executive office in the country. And whenever it is dragged into disrepute and that sort of thing, it damages the good name of Jamaica locally and internationally. We should be hearing things like 28 bank account. One was opened with $0. 3 days later, $143,000 passed through it, and so on. So if you put things in context, Bustamante, Donald Sangster, Hugh Shearer, Michael Manley, Siaga, and to a lesser extent, Bruce Golden, they all held the office high. Despite their little controversies here and there, because none was squeaky clean, but at least the office was not brought into disrepute and the sort of question about self-aggrandizement and embellishment and all that. Moreover, the IC that got the blessing of the present Prime Minister, the incumbent, he should be the one who attacking his legitimacy now. He used it while he was in Parliament. He used it against parliamentarians. So, as we always say in Jamaica, cock mouth kill cock. We must be careful what we say because it can come back and haunt us.
Okay. All right. So right? That's a broad So, like I say, I wanted to hear your take on yesterday. When you got the news, are you still, what frame of mind are you in? Has it changed any at all? When you hear it, what were you thinking and what are you thinking now?
It just came across as another nail in the coffin.
Another nail in the coffin. Okay.
Yes.
So that mean, does that pronounce guilt?
No, I don't have the capacity to pronounce guilt.
So what does it?
But in the court of public opinion, that's guilt.
Okay.
And the voters are members of that court of public opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And so all politicians have to be mindful of what happened in that court. I dare challenge him. If he wants to exonerate himself, call the election now and says, I was right. The people that come to the country say so. During the last election, he called it in the middle of COVID and literally annihilate the PNP. So he used it to his advantage. And this is one of the things that when it falls to the Jamaican electoral system.
But Mr. Lindo, you can't, and this is the problem that I have, and I post this, some people trust me and Mr. Lindo go back and forth, when I say something and even Facebook him, come on night, I'm saying him have to say, I have a problem, and I find it hypocritical, when the same thing that has been done by the PNP, if anything resembling that is done by the JLP, you hear that this is wrong and it shouldn't happen. Because I see there are civil groups now calling for the removal of the privilege of under the Westminster that we have been practicing since 1962, where it's the Prime Minister call the election both local and well is the minister for whatever. But it's the Prime Minister, him have that. Where him call election when he want. PJ done it, everybody else did it. So why no? Because you guys are in opposition, it's not a problem.
I am one of them. Listen, I am one of them who ascribed to a set election date. Bruce Colin espoused that when he was opposition leader. Bruce Colin said when he became leader, Prime Minister, he was going to report to the country in the first 100 days. I guess we are in the 99 day. Because we can't reach 100 yet. So all these fancy talk is just so convenient.
So my question again. So why is it okay when PNP out of convenience does that?
I believe that no Prime Minister, forget the party, absolutely no Prime Minister should have the power to set an election date when it does please him. Siaga 1989, he ran out the clock to the very last day when it was constitutional due, right? And yet, 1983, he called a snap election when Michael was away. So this sort of playing with the election date should be erased. The power to do so.
Hold on. Because I want us to be objective. I want to be objective. When you say Siaga called election 83 when Manley was away, that's the reason why JLP won all the seats, whatever number it was at the time?
Yes, because...
No, that's not factual, Mr. Lindo. Mr. Lindo, that's not factual. Manley decided that he was not challenging the election. So no, you can't come and mislead my listeners. But you can't mislead my listeners. I agree. But that's not the reason why.
1980, after the election, both sides agreed in principle that another election, general election, would not be called on the old list.
The old voters list?
Yes.
Right.
1983, Paul Burke was not even cabinet minister, was GenSec for the party. He challenged Siaga to resign from Ministry of Finance when Jamaica failed the IMF test.
Mm-hmm.
Siaga jumped on it as an opportune time to test the water because Michael was on international, some international affairs abroad. And so that breach of trust caused PNP not to not to contest.
Right, but
So
Mr.
for
Lindo,
first
let's get this clear because we only have 17 minutes remaining and we still not reached last night. You just said public opinion. That is what I want to talk about. So let's just get this clear and move on. So would you admit that that's kind of misleading by saying the reason why JLP won all the seats is because Manley was away and Stiaga called the election? That is not accurate.
Yes.
You're agreeing with me that it's not accurate?
It's not accurate to you. I won't challenge your take on that. But, historically,
but you just agree with me, Mr. Lindo. You just agree.
Cannot be challenged.
But you stated the reason, and I can't challenge that. I heard, because I was only 3 years old at the time, I heard that there was an agreement not to call the election on the old voters list. And Siaga went and did that. So that's why there was a boycott. And Manley actually telling people, them say, yo, if you want to go vote, if you want to go run, but I am not entering whatever.
No. That was not the case.
History will. All right, boss. So let's go back. So you're saying public opinion will judge Mr. Holness. So what should they judge him about based on the report last night that came out or yesterday? What should they judge him on?
It doesn't paint a good picture. And the image is that he's a con man. That's the image.
But break it down. More hear. I want to hear.
It may not suit you.
No, but I mean, invite you, Mr. Lindo, on my show. I want to hear, so it doesn't matter if it suits me or no. Tell me exactly what is in the report.
The picture that is coming out of it.
Okay, paint it for me.
And it's a bully.
Paint it for me. And paint it with the exact words or wording of the report that is saying exactly what you just said a while ago. Because I'm not seeing it. Paint it for me.
Say that again?
Paint that picture for me that you just accused Mr. Holness of being a con artist or whatever other adjectives you used. Because I'm not seeing it in the report.
The fact that he refused to cooperate with the investigative body that was set up by the parliament.
Hold on, Mr. Lindo, man. Me know you better than this, bro. I'm talking about the report yesterday. That has nothing to do with... Hold on, Mr. Lindo, man. Make we have a conversation now. I'm asking about the report from the IC yesterday. They didn't even ask him no question. So you mean he's not cooperating with the IC? The interview, all right, for the purpose of my viewers, because I'm not going to allow a guest to mislead. I'm not going to allow my guest. I am not going to allow my guest to mislead my audience. So the report was because somebody, a whistleblower, informed the IC that Dr. Holness was building illegally. So him apply for 4-bedroom and four 2-bedroom and him a build 4-bed. That is the report. So you're saying that he's misleading by not communicating with the IC or cooperating, that I think something like that to that extent.
Talking about what is leading up to the...
No, man, but at the report last night, me I talk about, you say the public opinion should judge him, and you said that also it painted a picture making him seem like a this and a that. And I'm asking you to explain that.
Listen, I tell you what you do. Ask the question and tell me exactly what me I said, and I give you the answer you want.
All right. So let's try again. From the report from the IC yesterday, read the building breach. You stated earlier a couple minutes ago that you're not of their capacity to pronounce guilt on Dr. Holness. I am asking you, what should the public opinion judge him on based on that report last night? What you saw in it, because I didn't see it.
The public opinion is strengthened on the fact that he is not playing his game straight. That's a public opinion.
All right. So point out to me where the lean come in, because I'm not seeing it. Please, I'm begging you.
Where the what?
The lean. You say he's not playing it straight. So point out the lean to me, because I'm not seeing it.
No. Everything, every news item now about him is something negative. And this is just another of the litany of negatives that is coming out of his office about him. and it doesn't augur well for the
Okay.
country.
So I wanted to ask you this at the beginning when you asked a question that you did not answer. You did this broad thing, which was all right. But based on what you said, this is the question that was in my head. You started out by saying that it doesn't look good and it paints a negative picture and whatever. Can these things be can an attack be orchestrated against a prime minister or a leader?
Say what?
Can an attack be orchestrated against a leader, or in this case, the prime minister?
I haven't grasped the essence of your question.
You don't grasp the essence of my question. So let me walk you back. You stated that everything, and you just said it a while ago, every news item, something negative about Dr. Holness, and it doesn't look good, and all of that.
And these things are not coming from Henry Lindo.
I know, I believe that. I believe it's not coming from Henry Lindo, and that's why I ask you if an attack, a character tearing down, can be orchestrated. And the next part of that and be also be successful. Because let me go straight up. You say you didn't get the essence. Hold on. Let me say this and then you can come in. Let me say this because this is what I was saying before. And you're actually making my point very clear. I am of the opinion, I'm not the only one. I think I form part of public opinion, that the IC has been orchestrated to tear down the character of Dr. Holness, and they're being successful. So you just admit that a while ago?
So he has the authority to put it on the line by calling the company election.
But the election has nothing to do with this. The IC. Yes, let's walk back. Let's walk back. We have 10 minutes remaining. Let's walk back this, right? The first time I stop having confidence in the Integrity Commission is when they put the table a report, right? One day, and then waited for a finding that he was not supposed to be charged. Why they didn't table everything together? They gave this person...
Hello, let me be blunt. It's time we stop apologizing for slackness. It doesn't sound good.
So I am saying to you, good. So Mr. Lindo...
it begins a general election.
Sir Lindo... And that is what, because I hear what you're putting forward. And again, I think it's actually the highest level of stupidity, knowing that the opposition cannot call an election, but calling every day for election. You don't have that. So you can't do that. I think it's a waste of time. We all know, and unless that is changed, the Westminster practice is the Prime Minister call the election when regardless of who, PMP, JLP. Call it. Right? But back to what I was stating. So as I say, Sir Linda, we have a conversation. As I said, I start losing confidence in the Integrity Commission when they had you're going to allow me to finish? You're not allowing me to finish, right?
You're losing confidence because they are finding your man.
No, it's principle I'm talking about here. It's principle. You cannot, hold on, Sir Lindo. I'm not a lawyer nor nothing. I don't practice no way. But justice not supposed to only seems right. Every level it's supposed to, you should check it. I am saying to you, I start losing interest. I start losing confidence in the Integrity Commission when they had the finding that he was not supposed to be charged. Sir Lindo, this is a strategy. Sir Lindo, this is a strategy that the PMP use, which I think it's...
Integrity Commission call Azan about some market.
No, make we stick to what we are talking about, no, man. And you notice me not bringing none of them someday. Sir Lindo, with all due respect, you're going all over the place. It sounds like you just have fling something with them stick. I am saying to you, and I want you to allow me to make my point because I want you to explain it. If you were investigating, Sir Lindo, if you were investigating Damian Phillips, right? So me come in your house. Sir. Let me try to break it down. I come to Brooklyn. Brooklyn, you're there, Bronx. I forget already. Brooklyn. I came there for the weekend. And you miss your Rolex watch. Right? And you say, boy, at the room where DP staying, I'm a Rolex rusted Dana. So you go up on Facebook and you say, boy, me know that boy they from Port Antonio and Ray blah blah. They run down back and Mr. Lay me ban and thing and him come stay in my room and my Rolex watch missing. However, that is your first thought of the whole thing. Your wife or your significant other, your helper say, you know, say, I actually see the watch in the bathroom or whatever. Would it be fair for you to come to John Public and say, Damian Phillips thief my Rolex watch, but the same watch where you accuse me of was found? Would that be right?
Hello, your analogy is weak.
Answer the question. Would that be right? Would that be right?
It's a little bit too parochial. Listen, it's a little bit too parochial for the gravity.
Oh, it's a little bit too parochial. So what I'm saying, so let me make a statement then. Let me make a statement. Let me make a statement. And I started and you never want to hear that, so you do what me say. Every year PMP do that. When them don't want, me doctor didn't do it. Him the nationwide and when question I ask him just continue repeat what him I say over and over and over and now get the host or whatever acting. I am stating to you that I think they owe the Prime Minister an apology because guess what? Even Greg Christie was retweeting something. Oh, Jesus Christ. Even Greg Christie was tweeting something from international thing that was misleading. They had the finding, and I have the power, people. I had to do this. They have the power. They knew the finding that, listen, he should not be charged. That is a fact. He should not be charged because there was a decision made on it, the whole thing. But they gave this perception, just like what Mr. Lindo is doing now, to say him guilty of something. That is one. Two, just the other day, the partial, and now they're saying that it's official. It was a closed thing. They came out and stating that the man have how much a bank account and Ray. Only thing to find out, guess what? No, we're not going to charge him on this because a lot of Jamaicans or Caribbean people do this. Put them firstborn or who them think is the more eligible for do whatever upon them bank account. So no charge not supposed to be laid against him. Again, last night, they came out with this talking about, oh yes, property that is linked to the Prime Minister, blah, 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 blah. If you paint a picture like, say, Andrew Holness was in breach.
Correct. That's all he has to do. He answers to the electorate.
Okay.
So not to you and I around a little coffee table.
All right. So finally, what you want to say? Call the election. That's all you're saying to this.
Yeah.
So what we're not gonna do? What we're not gonna do when the election call and wanna lose and he get it third term? What we're not gonna turn up the? So how you know this? Oh, you know this? Tell me.
Hello.
Tell me how you know this.
Hello.
In closing, tell me how you know this.
The writing is on the wall.
Writing. Final question before I let you go. Is your prime minister to be, because that's how I announce him, Mark Jefferson Golden? Does he still has his British citizenship?
That's irrelevant.
Oh, also, can he prove that he's a born Jamaican? Can he prove that he's a born Jamaican? Can he prove that he's a born Jamaican?
Let me pray, Chiaga. Chiaga was born in Boston, Massachusetts. Right? I think it was 1932.
September.
And what Chiaga did when Chiaga was entering politics, unknown to the world, he renounced his American
without being asked or pushed.
Yeah, because he knew the Constitution.
So why we had to push Mark Golden to do that?
You know, Chiaga was born here in America, so he was a born American. Mark Golden became a British citizen by inheritance. He was born in Kingston.
Oh, you know that?
Hello, have a good night.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay. All right. I prefer it that way because I don't want to come across rude or whatever. But you see, that's exactly what I was saying at the beginning of my show. PNP, and I'm in a business when nobody wants to say, I believe that some of the directors have gone rogue. They're not doing what taxpayer ask them or gave them the mandate to do. And I do believe with all my heart, this is a campaign smearing. You hear what I'm saying? He not even did want to talk about last night finding because again, and I don't have time to share, unless Anona give me some time. They made it seem, and I'm going to reiterate, TVJ end up apologizing to the Prime Minister because there was this perception that the Prime Minister had breached. And let me make it known, I did not cut off Mr. Lindo, my guess. I did not do. He said, have a good night and hang up. Because when pressure reach you, that is what you do. But them say pressure bust pipe. I didn't have to cut him off or run him or be disrespectful in any way. If I was being disrespectful, please let me know. Up to today, we only hear Sir Mark Golden is a born Jamaican. What is the proof? Where is the proof? I don't know. It's irrelevant. Is he still a British citizen? Or it's irrelevant? But you want to lecture me about Mr. Siaga. I started the show. Those of you who came here, I started the show talking about all of that. But how long can this hide? How long? I asked Akeem this last week, what would happen if there's proof that there is no proof that the prime minister want to be Mark Golden was born in Jamaica? Why if him can't prove that? Should we just go along with it? People talking about is why is it that is Mark Golden statutory can be declared? The man say him not own nothing in Jamaica, and it's way easy to do that. So let me try to close with this. I think I'm going to lose radio. But Vibes Corner Radio people, please go and think. These are some of the things. And I know some people against the DP. Why you never did just play this instead of bring on somebody for attack one bag of crap?
Violations of terms
let's go for those who don't know. And I'm going to play George's perspective on this, which I agree with.
The investigation was triggered following receipt of a report alleging irregularities in the development and building approval processes relating to property owned by the Prime Minister. The Integrity Commission says its probe found that the company undertaking the development is Estate Bridge. That company was formerly owned by the Prime Minister. It is now under the directorship of 4 individuals, one of whom is Adam Holness, a son of the Prime Minister. Dana Davey tells us more.
The Commission's report established that Dr. Holness is connected to a development at 2 Wheatcliff Close, Kingston 6, through ADMAT Incorporated. Mr. Holness was the original owner of the land and the sole director, shareholder, and beneficial owner of Imperium, a company that previously held shares in Estate Bridge at the time of the permit being granted on July 12, 2021. Although Imperium later relinquished its shares in October 2022, the report deemed it highly likely that the development at 2 Wheatcliff Close is the focus of the allegations. The KSAMC had granted approval for the construction of 4 two-bedroom townhouses. However, upon inspection, the development was found to consist of 4 four-bedroom townhouses, representing a clear breach of the permit. According to the Integrity Commission, this violation contravenes the Building Act. The Commission further highlighted attempts by key individuals to mislead investigators. It pointed to inconsistent statements from Norman Brown, a director of Estate Bridge, who initially admitted in December 2023 that the development consisted of 4 four-bedroom townhouses. He later contradicted this during a formal investigation. Contractor Kenado Nesbeth also reportedly misrepresented the situation, despite his role in designing the building plans and his contractual obligation to ensure compliance with the permit. The Commission concluded that the breaches were deliberate. The Director of Investigations found that the directors of Estate Bridge had prior knowledge of the permit. The report also criticized the KSAMC for failing to ensure compliance with the building permit. Though their records indicated that the development had passed inspections, the Commission's findings revealed otherwise. The Integrity Commission issued several recommendations to address the breaches, including an administrative review of KSAMC's compliance mechanisms, enhanced post-permit monitoring, and measures to corruption-proof the system. It also called for legislation to impose financial penalties on developers who deliberately violate building permits for profit, with profits from such breaches forfeited. Notably, the Commission refrained from referring the matter to the Director of Public Prosecutions, citing a previous ruling in a similar case. Instead, the report has been referred to the KSAMC for appropriate action. Dana Davey for Nationwide News.
Meanwhile, the directors of Estate Bridge Holdings Limited have strongly rejected the Integrity Commission report that claims their development project features 4-bedroom units instead of the approved 2. Roby and Williams has that story.
In a statement late Tuesday, the company emphasized that the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, KSAMC, the legally designated authority for room count and compliance, conducted multiple inspections of the site. It said the KSAMC found no breaches and confirmed during its most recent visit that the units consisted of 2 bedrooms. Estate Bridge acknowledged that variations in room size and layout were made during construction, but stated that these adjustments did not alter the building's footprint. The company noted that the necessary applications to reflect these changes are currently in process. Estate Bridge also criticized the commission for its.
If you're looking for a house, you should be.
We're just playing clips from Nationwide, and like I said, don't leave me, people. I want to share
conclusions from visits made
George's
while the
perspective.
development was still under construction. It says at the time the commission made its unannounced visits, extensive plumbing work and modifications, such as digging into walls and slabs, were being undertaken. The company maintains that it would have been impossible to determine final room in those situations. Estate Bridge also raised concerns about the timing of the Integrity Commission's report. The directors suggested its submission to Parliament was strategically timed to coincide with an application in the Supreme Court for judicial review by Director Norman Brown. Brown is challenging the Commission's findings against him and Estate Bridge in a separate report. The company says the present report relied on hearsay, misrepresentation of facts, and baseless conclusions. Estate Bridge has characterized the Integrity Commission's actions as an attempt to tarnish the reputation of its principals. The company says the principals are law-abiding citizens who give yeoman service to Jamaica and will not be deterred by baseless allegations and bureaucratic overreach of an organization that is not the competent authority. Roby Ann Williams for Nationwide News.
And the Prime Minister, Andrew Holness, has expressed a deep concern over what he perceives as him being unfairly targeted in the latest report from the Integrity Commission. In a strongly worded statement, the Prime Minister clarified his position, emphasizing that he holds no official connection to the company in question. He says it's puzzling that his name is even mentioned in this report. Holness noted that the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, the competent authority responsible for inspections, confirmed that the development does comply with the approved building plans. He expressed concern that the Integrity Commission's investigators disregarded the KSAMC's findings and the statements from individuals involved in the development, which clarified the nature of the ongoing construction. The Prime Minister also pointed out the timing of the report. He notes it was tabled in Parliament mere days before the Supreme Court is set to deliver a judgment in a case where he's seeking judicial review of another Integrity Commission report. Holness described the situation as a transparent attempt to attack his reputation. However, he is assuring the public, he's moving to assure the public that it would not deter him from continuing his service to Jamaica. While the Commission's report does not directly accuse him of any wrongdoing, Andrew Holness confirmed that he has instructed his legal team to review the document and provide further advice.
So, and I'm going through the comments here, and let me say thanks for those of you who actually find it imperative to actually comment, because we need this stuff like that actually grow my channel. And I saw somebody, I don't remember who it was, saying, "Listen, man, we are gonna bring over everybody over here, so come load it up." Yep. So every Wednesday I'm live. I don't know if I'm going to take a break if it's next Wednesday, but you will know. And I still will be posting videos because, like I said again, I was going to say, no, let's not do this. I have family friends who want me and said, no, DP, left it alone. But I am sick. And last night I was listening to somebody like me say, demanding that the Prime Minister resign because he not even own the land anymore. That this so-called breach, which is a lie, because it's owned by the Prime Minister. That is what they were saying. I know him thing, and I'm like, a breach is a breach. I've seen it several times. Yeah, bill, you come up 6 inches too far, whatever, and then you make adjustments. And as the report I saw it last night dropped to say the footprint of the construction is not breaching anyway. So when it come on to building, and I've never constructed any building or whatever, the same person that one of them I hear criticizing heavily, I have witnessed him lick out wall and thing and I'm own a thing and add him thing varying from in plan, which I've seen before. But as them say, we expect the prime minister to be above board. And that is the hypocritical part I find. Because I don't even talk about Gleaner staff members striking. Yeah, we all Gleaner right against the government and Ray and you what the people them the money pay them and now we just here say boy Gleaner lose much billions so them can't afford for and the same thing with them accuse the government of. Oh, you signed contract with them and they're supposed to pay. I'm not going there. Because I used to, full disclosure, I used to work for the RJR Communication Group. So, and I'm not really going there. I'm just saying the hypocrisy is when you're in opposition, like you heard I put to my guest a while ago, Mr. Henry Lindo, where when you're in opposition, you make all the calls for everything. And when you form government now, then it's a different case. And now, as I say, it is so hypocritical where he's saying that he does not believe that a prime minister should have the power to call election. And I realize that a strategy from the PNP. Everything them call now, the prime minister shouldn't have this, and the prime minister shouldn't. So why is he the prime minister? But when they are in power, no man, the prime minister said that's everything good. Yeah. This man is dishonest politically. Desperate PMP. He has no evidence of corruption, only interested in election. That is it. So when I was asking him, and you heard it for yourself, prove to me where in the report actually found Dr. Holness guilty of something. None of them, some of them published, there is no guilt. There is nothing. They themselves, the IC, could not prefer a charge against him. Where them say prima facie case or something like so, they couldn't even formulate that. But I put it to him and I was holding it. But that is what it is. And he could not answer the question because it's true. You can have a smear campaign and it can be effective. Somebody get up and say, listen, we cannot challenge this man and whatever. So guess what? We know as a Jamaican like mix up. But I am comforted in the fact that we're not 20 years back or whatever. More Jamaicans are more educated now and well-thinking people. You understand? Which I hear people trying to, cast all kind of things, shadow, whatever, which I think everybody know this. If you want to get a bias answer to a poll question, you just need to go to the place where you're going to get the answer there from. You understand? That is how I think that work. But the people them who have the mad pan them body and serious and know what them want and know what is best for Jamaica, they're not going to fall for the lies and the smear campaign of the PNP. They're not. And that is what it is. They have set out to just fling something on the wall and hear. Because why we can't hear? Every time I hear a journalist ask Dr. Dayton Campbell, what are the plans for the party? What is it that the PMP plan to do better or differently or whatever? They keep on saying, oh no, we're going to release that. So they're the one who are calling for election and saying that election is right around the corner. One of them came on a couple of weeks ago and was telling me that, and I'm like, we still have a year to go. What are you talking about? Constitutionally. And it can be extended. So, you're going to be in opposition and you're calling for election. And let me tell you something. The PMP, well, I know so them not ready for no election, Don't waste your time with this dunce PMP caller. No, I actually invited him to be on my show. So, no, he's not just a caller. I invited him and I know where he's at. I know that everything and I'm green. I mean, what color that? Orange? Me know. So, for those of us still here, let me just share. And when I heard this morning, I'm like, yes, this makes sense. I agree with George 100%. Let's get his perspective.
From words told him. In other words, a trillion questions. And it is useful to ask some now and ask some later. This matter concerning the Prime Minister, or does it concern the Prime Minister? The question I want to ask is this. If a reasonable person reads this report, do they leave this report convinced that the company in question is owned in part or in full by the Prime Minister? That's the question first. And then second, headline question, I know which other questions can come. What is the expertise of Mr. Stevenson, the Director of Investigations at the IC, to opine and draw conclusions on construction projects? And I'm not saying he doesn't have it, but I'd like to know what it is. And if he doesn't have expertise, whose opinion did he lean on to draw the conclusions? He a trillion questions. And it is useful to ask some now and ask some later. This matter concerning the Prime Minister, or does it concern the Prime Minister? The question I want to ask is, for those conclusions to be different from what the experts told him. In other words, Keneda Nesbeth, the owner of the company that is building this complex in Beverly Hills, is a young man. Kenny's not 40 yet. Kenny is arguably the leading developer in the corporate area and has been for some time. His reputation in the streets is very strong. He's regarded as a young man of integrity, and of course, the quality of his work is of the highest standard. You know, as I said I saw a mutual friend the other day, and he said, "Boy," and I said, "Kenny, I run the place." I'm gonna say, "Yeah." So that's Keneda Nesbeth. So he is, I know, an expert in these matters. He studied at the Caribbean School of Architecture at the University of Technology. And we all know that UTech produces the best people in that field. No argument there. In the Caribbean. He is an expert in those areas. If it was a matter of law, I wouldn't take Kenny Nesbitt's opinion on law over Kevin Stevenson. Kevin Stevenson is an attorney. So in this matter, where Kevin Stevenson went and looked, got an explanation, but says he doesn't believe the explanation, and then came with his own conclusions. I want to know, Mr. Stevenson, what is it that convinced you that what you saw and what you were told are not true? And what informed the opinion that you drew? Is it your own expertise in construction, which you may have, I don't know? Or is it that you consulted with someone else who said, "No, Mr. Stevenson, what them I tell you say is not so, and what you saw, this is what you saw, blah, blah, blah. This is what the thing is." And you relied on that. It's very important in something like this, because now we have one of the leading developers in the corporate area. Their explanation about what is being built, you did not accept it. It can't be that you just feel like it wrong. It has to be more substantive than that, which is why I'm asking the question for you to demonstrate the expertise, which led you to your rival conclusion, whether it is that you possess that expertise or you consulted with other experts. You may not want to name them, that's fine, but if you could say, "Well, yes, I consulted with other people," that would be sufficient to me, because of course in these matters people want to be protected, and they say, "Well, Mr. Stevenson, I'll consult with you, but I don't want you to load up my name because I don't want any backlash to come to me against the industry." But would that even be fair? Because no, there may be a cloud over Mr. Nesbitt's head, because you would have been said to have lied to the Integrity Commission. And a man's reputation is priceless, especially when a man is at the top of his game. So I think that's a question that must be asked. On to the Prime Minister now. Reading this thing last evening. I read it last night. I read it this morning. I'm going to read it a while ago. And I'm saying to myself, has Kevin Stevenson, the Director of Investigations at the Integrity Commission, nailed down the fact that Andrew Michael Holness is the owner in part or in full of Estate Bridge? Mr. Stevenson makes many conclusions in this report. I'm going to make one myself in this space. My conclusion is no. Here's why. In the background section of the report, here's what Mr. Stevenson wrote. He said, on July 11, 2024, by the way, I must applaud the Integrity Commission for the speed with which it did this investigation. It started on July 10, report prepared, tabled in Parliament by early December. It would be good if the Commission could work by this standard for its investigations. I know that there are different investigations take on a different nature, yeah, and some matters are far more difficult than others, but this was done in almost record time. So very, very quickly done. Huh? On July 11, the DI undertook an unannounced visit to KSAMC to inquire about whether Holness had directly or indirectly applied for a building permit for a development in Beverly Hills Cherry Gardens. The DI's inquiries revealed that the only development in this area that Dr. Holness, listen to this key part now, his language and not mine. The DI's inquiries revealed that the only development in this area that Dr. Holness was in some way connected to is a residential development located at 2 Waycliffe Close, Beverly Hills, Kingston 6, St. Andrew, and that this was owned by Estate Bridge. So he found that Holness was in some way connected to the Waycliffe Close property, but that the property was owned by Estate Bridge. Distinct and disparate things. Holness was in some way connected to the land, but the land was being developed by Estate Bridge. That's what Kevin Stevenson wrote. The key question, listeners, viewers, who owns Estate Bridge? Before I get to who owns Estate Bridge, you have to be reminded the premise on which Mr. Stevenson went to the KSAMC unannounced on July 11. The day before, on July 10, Mr. Stevenson says the following allegation was received, and I'm reading the allegation verbatim, that Mr. Holness is the owner of property on which construction is being carried out, contrary to the terms of the planning approval and building permit granted by the KSAMC. That Mr. Holness, listen to this part, that Mr. Holness often requests the service from his architect to draw a blueprint that will be sent to KSAMC. However, a second blueprint will be drawn that will be used for the actual construction. It is said that this was done at one of his developments in Beverly Hills, Cherry Gardens. As my granny would say, Mr. Holness, the allegation was selling the KSAMC a hollow. So you send one thing, you send the Samsung down there and say, yeah man, may I work with the Samsung? And when they approve the Samsung, you start with the iPhone. That's effectively what they say Andrew Holness did. So the subject of Mr. Stevenson's visit to the KSAMC was to inquire into whether Andrew Holness was building a development contrary to the permit granted by the KSAMC. That's why he went there. When he went there, he found that a property is being developed at 2 Waycliffe Close that was in some way, his language, connected to Holness, but that the property at the said address was owned by Estate Bridge. So now, who owned Estate Bridge based on what Mr. Stevenson found? He says a couple things here. He says, as set out in chapter 2 on the background, the DI's inquiries of KSAMC revealed that the only development in the Beverly Hills Cherry Gardens area, and I don't know why he put it like that because Beverly Hills and Cherry Gardens are not in the same area. But anyway, the only development in Beverly Hills Cherry Gardens area that Dr. Holness, again he says, was in some way connected with is 2 Waycliffe Close, Beverly Hills, Kingston 6, and that this was owned by Estate Bridge. The DI therefore sought to establish the nature of the connection. So we're getting to it now. He says, initially, the DI sought to ascertain the identities of the directors and the shareholders of Estate Bridge at the material time. The material time would be when? would be in July 2024 because he started the investigation on July 10 after receiving the complaint. And then he went to the KSMC by July 11. So the material time can't be 2022, some date in 2021, some date in 2023. The material time must be at the time I went and looked at the development, who owned the development at the time. At the material time is material to this. He says, by way of a statement dated September 18, 2024, the duly authorized officer at the company's office said that, quote, Estate Bridge Holdings Limited had been incorporated on the 22nd of July 2020. The total number of authorized shares for the company is 10,000 ordinary shares. He says the duly authorized officer at company's office also provided the following information in respect of the directors and shareholders of Estate Bridge. So the director, the person at the company's office is now telling Kevin Stevenson who owns Estate Bridge. The directors of Estate Bridge are Sigia Anderson, who was appointed a director July 22, 2020. Norman Brown, who was appointed July 22, 2020, and one Adam Holness, who was appointed the 29th of March, 2021. Further than that, there's a table in Mr. Stevenson's report which lists the persons who hold shares in Estate Bridge. It says C.J. Anderson owns 2,000 ordinary shares. It says Norman Brown owns 1,000 ordinary shares. And there's a note that 2,000 ordinary shares were issued at incorporation, 1,000 were forfeited on March 29, 2021. It says Adam Holness owns 2,000 ordinary shares. It says Imperium Investments Holding Limited, yeah, which is the company that Holness, Andrew, has connections to that. There's no argument about whether or not Andrew Holness owns Imperium. So how many shares does the Prime Minister's Imperium Investments hold in Estate Bridge? You know how many? The report says 0. It says 0. 0 shares. The time is running out. I can't go anymore. But I ask myself the questions to say, well, on it. Am I reading Chinese language? Yeah? Am I reading Chinese language? Is it something that I'm not seeing? If anybody knows where in this report the Prime Minister owned Estate Bridge at the time this thing was developed, and at the time the property was being developed, yes, and at the time Mr. Stevenson went there, tell me which part of the report is this so I can find it. Because based on what I have read, Andrew Holness did not own Estate Bridge, does not own Estate Bridge. He owned a company that had a share in Estate Bridge that relinquished those shares. And the company's office says Estate Bridge is owned by Norman Brown, C.J. Anderson, yes, Adam Holness, and that the Prime Minister held 0 ordinary shares. So, Mr. Stevenson, how come? Nail that down for me, sir. Please and thanks.
Show your
Mr.
dog.
Stevenson, how comes? So, again, like I say, I think there are enough sensible making up a word out there that people don't really have to. But again, because I'm sure those kind of people, you heard my guest call me apologist. He's saying, when I'm asking my question, I try to nail him down and say, tell me, what did you hear in the report last evening that prove any form of culpability, any form of guilt, whatever? He couldn't. He moved to this thing where, and I hear a host said it today again. When question lace them say, well, it's up to the people. But guess what happened? They used to thrive on having ignorant people voting. And I think there has been a shift. Because, again, them say it. If PMP did go out and vote 4 years ago, it wouldn't be a clean sweep. It wouldn't be 49 seats. That is what them say. But I am puzzled. I am wondering what is going to happen. You heard Mr. Linda a while ago. He's sure that the PNP is going to win the next election. And the question I have been asking is, will they win on just an empty slogan, time come? And I'm a bit fearful because I'm old enough to remember 1989. Couldn't vote at the time. But after Mr. Siaga brought back Jamaica on his feet after the 88 Gilbert, PMP actually won 89 February when the election was called. So after Dr. Holness set Jamaica on a path where, and those of you, I have the video on my channel, with even Mark Goling himself challenging. He was on a live with another comrade who was put to him and said, listen, let me put this to you. We're on par to win. Everything is in your favor, whatever. But the state of the economy is in shambles. And Mark said it to them own mouth. He said, no. It's not the same. The country is in a better place and all them international recognition. And so part of me is kind of fearful to say, will the well-thinking Jamaicans who no longer run with what one media house say and print like it's gospel, because that is part of the problem. You know, they have a problem when people challenge their narrative. When people who are well thinking ask questions, like I was asking my guest a while ago. Prove it to me. Tell me, oh, the picture that it paints. Paint the picture to me now in words from the report itself, showing me where Dr. Andrew Holness is culpable of anything. But they just want to malign. They just want to tear down. Today I was at work and I'm saying to myself, you know, at one point, me kind of like how the politics thing look. So maybe I was eyeing, you know, maybe entering into the... But I said, no, I don't have what it takes. I do not have what it takes to become... Because I can just imagine now how even Adam just reached 21, you know, your father set a thing for you or whatever and thing, your name as a dear, and people are calling your father a thief and he's a gimmicks and him is a whatever and thing. I'm like, how? But again, I'm saying there's an appetite for misinformation and for derogatory and everything that is wrong out there. There are people that is what speak to them. And I love to use analogy. And I love to talk about relationships and all of them something there. Where you have a decent young man who, and I've seen it. You're at a club, see a girl and you step to her and, you know, you go maybe decently and say, me can have a dance. Let me actually do something better than that. I can recall, and I did invite that person to be my guest tonight, and him said, no, I'm not available. I can recall standing at a street party and see this young lady pass. And I say, hi, whatever, you know, come here, decent smaddy. Me, I don't know, all whatever. And the brother turned to me and say, no, Bridget, I know how you do it. Watch ya. And when the young lady was passing back, him say, you girl, come here. And she ran to him, open arms, smiling. And him say whatever, and then she walk off and him say, yo, DP, I saw you deal with them girl. Sorry for the colloquial term, but yes. And that is my fear. Where you have somebody that mean well, somebody who I can identify. Because I'm not a tapanaris. My father never not a tapanaris. You understand? Me not know nobody. Me not a tapanaris friend. But I can identify with Dr. Michael Holness in a lot of ways. I came to the States when I was, 36, whatever. And at 40, I went back to school. Now I am a certified, licensed, certified HVAC tech. For those of who don't know what HVAC is heating and cooling, AC, furnace. That's what I work on my day job. At 40 years old. Because I decided that, and I had that discussion with one of my customers today. I'm born in a poverty and I decided that I don't want to stay in a poverty, I don't want to live in a poverty. And when I reached the age when I could change it, I decided to. And then God blessed me with one little baby 16 years ago. My son I know 16, 17 next month. And that was one of my wish that I can do more for my child than my father did for me. And you have somebody like that is running the country now. Because I asked one of them this the other day, you know. I said, until before the IC came out with all of this dragging the man in the mud. Who knew that Dr. Holness had all these companies and doing whatever, blah, blah, whatever? Who knew whatever? But I can recall And them say if you call a dead man name, whatever, you don't have to prove whatever. The late Dr. Bloomfield, former MP for East Portland. I remember 2020, not 2020, 2016 election, because I was covering news for TVG at the time for Portland. So, you know the name? Damian Phillips? Never hear that name? Yes. And I remember after the election, he was sharing with me that they had, I think the PMP, YO, or whatever, they were coming up with strategies that they were going to use for that campaign. And let me not call this person name because he's still alive. But one of the big men them in the party say, you had ambition, thank you. One of the big men in the party say, make we attack him house. So who can recall from 2016? Him house. Because guess what? One little youth were born in a nothing, board house and whatever. We see it. As a Jamaican, I can say it. If it's not sports or music or drugs, and of late it turns scamming, you wouldn't have nothing. You just tear this up. And when I listen to some followers of the PNP, and when I hear how they brag about Mark Golan having money already, and him this and that, and rain him now come for scrape and thing, and I'm like, I see the similarities. Because when Donald Trump, his first term, said that he's going to drain the swamp, women up drain it and put it in a few man in friend them pockets. And I will always say this, I will more trust somebody who you submit your declaration and clearly we can see that the IC have a purse, something against him. You know, I think they're an extension of the PNP. That's what I think. That is what they're proving to be. Decided that they're going to block it. That was one of the talking points. I hear them on radio every day. The Prime Minister can't certify anything. And I'm like, is it the Prime Minister that's supposed to certify him declaration? No, the IC is supposed to do that. And they go up and down the road and them cannot certify it. Because what? They're digging. And everything that they put into the public, it's a nothing. Because like even last night, it was a nothing. So my phone was blowing up. People I say, yeah, man. See that now, your Prime Minister, this, your Prime Minister. And I'm like, what are you talking about? So the man did buy a piece of land. And him not have nothing to do it anymore. And whatever company. And you so that is the message. Unless you're an entrepreneur, you know, unless you did there in a part of Daring, Goaling and Bunting. Because I remember I used to see they had them and the big billboard them in a Kingston or whatever that. And I don't want to go there, but are we still suffering from residual whatever from slavery? Are we still at a place where it's easier to look at a white man and think of Jesus and the Savior? And trust me, I try all if you not go there, but I have to based on what the thing reach. Is it that being still played on us? I was born and raised in the church. And there was a group called CSI, Christian Service International. Used to come to Port Antonio Salvation Army every summer to have VBS, Vacation Bible School. And at one point, I was one of those little black child who thought that if you're white, you're nice and everything all right with you. Yeah, I grew up thinking that. Is that where it's at? Or are we still there where because Andrew look like we, whatever percentage of Jamaicans look like black, yeah, them say out of many, whatever. And I'm not trying to play a race game or blame the race. Me just I say, that's what it is. So we are afraid of and we try to malign our own because him is a black man, that mean him a thief. I remember I grew up hearing them say nothing too black, no good. So because we have a black man against a white man, the same party who boast about them leader Barney, grandmother Barney, all of these things. And again, as me say, I asked me guess a while ago, you have any proof that your party leader is born in Jamaica? Him can't. No, everything different. It's different when it suits them. I pray and hope that we're wiser than where we were years ago. And we not just fall for empty promises. Time come. What is in that time? Time come for what? To erode all of the progress that was made over these years. Final point. I have to touch this before I go. So, Jump or whatever them name came out the other day and say 3 trillion, something like that, missing or not missing. Like the PMP keep on saying missing, but unaccounted for. And I've seen this several times because again, I used to do news and I watch international. If there is a flood and you know find the person, you can't deem them dead. You can't say 50,000 people died in the flood, whatever. You find people, when you find the body, then you say whatever. If you can't account for them, it's unaccounted for. So them come out and say trillions of dollars is unaccounted for, or whatever. PMP put a twist to it now and say it's missing. When I hear Cameron McCracken put it to them Friday morning on Power 106 and say, listen, it's over a 10 to 11-year-old span, you know. They don't want to hear that. So PMP shed off thing, the 6 to thing is just the 6 years that the Prime Minister or the Prime Minister now has been our and that alone them focus on. Because 11 years would have bring it into PNP time. No, they don't want to talk about that and they make it seems as if. But Minister Vaz always say it, Tom drunk but Tom no fool. Tom drunk, but Tom no fool. Leaving Jamaica gives some of us a different perspective from some of those that have not traveled. That is true. And I can tell you, let me confess, I was one of those people who never did too. No money is missing. Exactly, Erica. No money not missing. Was not really so keen on politics because I was turned off. And I was one of them that used to say, no better barrel, no better air, no better barrel. But in my last couple of years, and again, this is, I think, contributed to, well, it was before I actually migrated. But when I'm on the outside, and this is what I put to them over and over, if all these international agencies giving us ratings, upping whatever we did the Pangrea list and up to whatever, and that's not something positive for the country. But I don't know. Let me leave it there. Let me leave it there. Let me say thanks to those of you who joined me this evening. I like your company. I like the vibes. And we just need to spread it. And like I say, to every negative, there's a positive. So, and I think those of you who found me, you found this as something positive. Spread the word. Don't just comment and keep it to yourself. There's a story that one of my pastors used to tell me. He's from Great River. And him say, "You have one man down there. Him love rum so much. Him say, listen, man, if I go down to Great River one day and taste the river and the river water tastes like white rum, I wouldn't tell a soul. I would have just drink and drink. Don't do me that. Don't do me that. If you enjoy what you're here for, and those of you stayed with me for the 1 hour and 41 minutes, share the link, share the channel, help me grow the channel, help me boost it. And again, my humble plea is, when you now watch the video them, do not skip the ads. All right, I have a whole part video loaded. Do not skip the ads. Just put it on play, man, and make a little couple of seconds run out. By doing that, you're granting me a huge favor. Labor right, remember, every Wednesday night, link up. See there? Wednesdays, 8 o'clock, 8 to 9. And now let me say big up to Vibes Corner Radio. That's where I'm at also. But DP Live or DP Unfiltered or something. That's where those of you find me. So, and I would hate it that you're here with me this evening. You commented and you haven't subscribed to the channel. And even the simple, just to like the thumbs up, that works too. So make sure you subscribe, like, and share. Until then, like I say, hold on, let me check my calendar and make a commitment now. Because, like I said, the news cycle, I didn't even get to touch the big granting of the leave. I just barely gloss over it. All right, so I'm going to make next week Wednesday the 18th. Yep. After next week, we're going to take a break. So please come back. I'm going to know some more development. I started out by saying it. When you see big television, Jamaica, apologize. Yeah, you know, say something. And somebody pointed out to me last week when the gleaner at a Eden And then somebody say, oh, when them realize say it was so in favor, kind of in favor of the prime minister, them reword it and screenshot it and send me. And I'm like, wow. Yeah. All right, this one. Thanks, DP. Because of my work schedule, I can't be here all the while, but I will definitely try to be here on Wednesdays. Yeah, man. Thank you, Angie. And like I say, it's recorded on YouTube, so you can go back and watch it. All right, and still comment. So until then, I always say I feel like I dropped the ball a couple weeks ago, or maybe months now. But I always end my show by saying, if you can't be good, please be careful, and don't make the PMP them win. Don't make them win. Don't make them go out and spread them false narrative and I try tear down people. And I think we have passed that. Yeah, them dirty politics there. And I think the Prime Minister have enough for him can call some name and thing. But no, I don't want to see my Prime Minister becoming them and doing their kind of something. Bossy, just do what you do. Do it the right way. The right way is the right way. There's no other way but the right way. Make them complain about you got court and you right. Do your thing the right way. Send your letter of notice. Make them apologize if not so. Do what you need to do. All right, people. If you can't be good, please be careful. I'm out.